Hi, this is Isabel, and I'm back talking to you more about working while worn out, which I hope will give you hope and a sense of possibility that even if your energy is limited, even if your capacity is limited, that there really still are ways that you can have a rich, full, joyful, prosperous business. I want to build on something. I was just talking about nourishing business activities, and I talked about this earlier. When I spoke about having smaller containers for your work, is I want to talk about this principle of cutting out the fluff. So one of the things that happens when you say, okay, I'm not working 8 hours a day. I'm not even working 6 hours a day. Maybe I'm not even working 5 hours a day, right? I'm working 2, 3, 4 hours a day because that's really what I can um, commit to, right? Um, you do really have to start to distinguish, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, between what's an absolutely essential business activity and what's, a nice thing to do, but not absolutely essential. And I would say in my, 27 years of working with a lot of new business owners, um, a lot of new business owners, and even not new business owners, we can kind of hang ourselves up doing what I would call busy work, like stuff that isn't bad to do, but that isn't absolutely essential. And when your energetic capacity is limited, you've got to focus on what's absolutely essential. Um, so one of the things that will help you to work while worn out is to really cut out the fluff. And by the fluff, I mean something that, again, is a nice idea but isn't absolutely essential. Now, what's fluff for you might be different for someone else. So don't take any of these examples as a prescription. But I know a lot of people who put a lot of energy into, like, I've got to have a new and improved website, right? And sure, nothing wrong with having a great, beautiful, vibrant web presence. But for many of my clients, it is not how you get clients. You're not getting clients because of your web presence. You're getting your clients because of your social media or your networking or referrals or, other things. And so again, if your capacity is limited, maybe redesigning a website is not the best use of your energy. I would say other fluff is kind of sometimes what I would say super labor intensive marketing. I've never advocated this, but I know people say, like, oh yeah, I have a marketing coach and they tell me I should belong to these different Facebook groups and I should interact with people in those Facebook groups. And then by developing relationships with people in those Facebook groups, I can then invite them to work with me, or have a conversation with me. And again, if you're in a Facebook group and it's joyful and delightful and nourishing and it gives you energy, by all means, hang out there and build relationships there. But if there's kind of a trudgy, grudgy, burdensome obligation feeling about, oh, I have to go to all these networking events, I'm going to say for you, that might be fluff. And it would be better to say, yeah, I need to build relationships, but how can I do it in a way that actually feels good, right? That works for me. Um, so what's fluff for you and what's fluff for me might be different. But it's sort of scary, but also really liberating, to start to say, maybe I don't have to do that, right? Maybe that activity I'm putting all those hours into. A research is one. I gotta say, like, I'm a researcher at heart in human design. I'm a one profile, so I love investigating and researching and knowing what I'm doing. But sometimes I work with clients and they're like, oh, I want to write an article about blank, but I need to go research and I need to find out what other people are doing and what other people are saying. And then no, just say what you want to say about the subject, right? You don't have to go research it. So the more you can cut out the fluff, the unnecessary activities, that often the fluff is stuff that makes you feel like you're being productive because you're busy and you're working hard. But when you really look at if you look at how the activity makes you feel, if it's like a heavy, burdensome thing, then it may be fluff. Or if you really see, like, I'm not getting any return on this, right? I'm not getting any life or energy here. And again, you don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. So let's say you say, I've been posting on LinkedIn and I'm not getting any response. Very subjective. You might go, yeah, I don't have to do that anymore. I actually get a great response on Instagram, so I'm going to focus on there. That's where my people are. Or you can say, I'm at least not going to keep doing it the way I was doing it. Another way to cut out fluff, I will say, I had a client a couple years ago who wanted to write a weekly thing for her, email, to go out by email. But the way she was writing it, um, felt really heavy and burdensome because she worried a lot about writing what she thought her people were interested in and wanted to hear about. And she had a story that people didn't really want to hear about, the things that really lit her up and that she was on fire about and that got her going. And so writing the email was just this chore, and this hours and hours and hours and hours long chore for her. And when I started to give her permission to write about, you know, things that weren't even directly related to the work she does, but that she was really on fire about, suddenly that happened a lot quicker. So sometimes cutting out the fluff is changing how you do something so it's not a heavy burden. By the way, something I often do with my clients is I give them little time parameters. So I say a social media post should take 10 minutes or less, and like your email, 30 minutes or less, right? That you no longer give yourself permission to take hours and hours and hours and hours, particularly when your capacity is limited. So that's my invitation to you today, is to ask yourself, where can I cut out the fluff? What are my absolutely essential business activities? What are the ones that absolutely the business doesn't grow and flourish and come alive without? And what are things I've told myself have to happen but actually don't, or don't have to happen the way I've been doing them or I think they're supposed to happen?